I'm Danielle. Welcome to Crafty Stitches. This is Flosstube number 11. This Flosstube is devoted to my love of cross stitch, and I'm filming today on February 21st. It is definitely the middle of winter here. We have snow on the ground and it has been here for days. So it's been a great time for stitching, and my kids have been having a great time outside, which is nice. Today was actually warm enough too that it was comfortable to be in the snow rather than that like 10 degrees or so or less sometimes, and it's just like so frigid out there. But it has been a beautiful white winter so far. So I have been very busy stitching. I had a birthday in January, so I got a new start for that. I got a new start for the new year, and I'm just excited to share those things with you. So the first thing I want to start with is my finish. I finished a project in January. This is one I have been working on since February of 2021, and I'm very excited to have it done. This is the Disney Chibi Princesses. And this project I started for my daughter. She picked it out when she was 6 years old, and she is turning 10 in April. So my goal is to have this fully finished for her at her birthday in April. All I had left was to finish Briar Rose over here. And so I got her done this last month, and just so excited to be able to finish something recently. So this is stitched on Lugana 28 count and in the colorway Delphinium, and it's by Fabric Flair. So yeah, I haven't quite decided what kind of frame I'm going to go for. I'm thinking white. I think it'll look nice with a white frame. It's got a light purple color, so that will be good. Very excited to share that with her when it's done. She hasn't seen it yet. I know she knows that it was close, but I haven't actually shown her the finish because I was like kind of excited to show it to her for her birthday. So the next one I worked on was one of my new starts. I decided to put those up front. This is called the 1864 EF Sampler, and this was a sampler released by Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly in summer of 2011. And this is a project that I saw on Mama Loves You GB, and she had, I think she was starting a stitch along with another floss tuber, and I just loved the colors, and I loved the cow in the lower left corner. And I just was like, I've got to stitch this. And it took me a while to get back to it, but then I was like, I kept thinking of it. And I also had been thinking of the Creatures Great and Small stitch, but this one spoke to me more. So I started this one. So basically, I honestly finished, I think I finished the Princesses the same day. And then I started this one. I was like, oh, I finished one, I can start another one. So yes, so this is the beginning, and I'm really happy with what I've gotten done. This is on 36 count linen. It's in the colorway Saltash by Cedar River Linen and Design, and this linen is beautiful. I was recommended her from a few of my stitchy friends, and really she has beautiful fabric. So I worked on this project for 9 days and got just over 1,000 stitches on it. So I'm very happy with my progress. Initially, I didn't have all the DMC colors. So I, the very top here, I only had filled in about half. And so, and then you can see I'm missing a couple letters, like I'm A, B, and EF are, they're on vacation. So, but anyway, I'll get them in. I did finally get my order from 123 Stitch and got the rest of the colors I needed, so I can catch up on the parts that are missing. But I love this project. Very fun to pull out. And this is also the project, and I mentioned this I think a while back, but I bought this thread organizer from Amazon. And I got this idea from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And so she said that this is not a brand name. It's just a generic thread. I think I just like floss holder or something, but it holds 50 flosses. And so I am saying I love it for this project because I think it works because the threads are shorter, because I am doing 2/2 for this project on 36 count because I really liked that kind of thick coverage. But I kept the thread short because there's a lot of color changes, and this thread organizer works really nice for that. And it's really easy just to pluck one tiny thread from the the spool here, I guess, or I don't know, whatever you want to call that, a spindle, I guess, and thread your needle with it quickly. So if you have a project that has 50 colors or less and they're shorter threads, I think this is really helpful. And it was only, I think, I want to say $10 on Amazon, so that's really not too bad. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, so then I'm going to go over my birthday start now too. And this is one I had been thinking about starting for a while. I bought it probably a couple of years ago, but had been putting off, and I even bought fabric, but I was still putting it off because I had to go to a craft store to pick colors. And my town does not have a craft store. We have a Walmart that has a very sad collection of DMC floss. So on my birthday, I took my 3-year-old daughter and we went on a little road trip into Columbus, which isn't that far. It's about 25 minutes. And we went to Hobby Lobby and got some of the floss that I picked colors for this piece. And I'm thinking, I'm sure we got lunch. I don't remember. It was my birthday. I was like, I deserve a coffee and a lunch. But anyway, we had a good time, and I'm really thankful I got this one started. But let me tell you what it is. So this is Happy Ever After, and it is by Long Dog Samplers. This project is pretty big. It's 221 by 169, and so you'll see the picture. It's charted in it's monochromatic, but I decided that I wanted to do it in at least 2 colors and maybe even add some sparkle to it. On my birthday, I took my 3-year-old daughter into Columbus, and we went to Hobby Lobby to pick out some colors. And so this fabric is very bright, and I think that's why I was like not sure exactly what I wanted to do with the color. The fabric is 36 count linen in the colorway Pandora, and it is by Fabrics by Stephanie, and it's beautiful. Oh gosh, purple's like one of my favorite colors. So I wanted to, I didn't want to do white, although I think white probably would look really good with this. And I did want to do 2 colors. So I played around with different DMCs and finally decided on 156 and 159, which you can see both here. And I would say it actually probably is a little easier to see in person, but I also thought about adding sparkle. So so here's the, oops, here's the 2 colors I picked. And then, but I also really liked that this is a DMC, I think it's 4220, and it's still not giving a very accurate color, but I think it's like Lilac Fields or something. So that was another thought. So I think I might still use this on the letters maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but I also wanted to use this one, which is Etoile, which of course it's hard to see the sparkle, but this is the DMC where it has a very fine piece of metallic kind of running through the DMC thread. So I will tell you, I'm not 100%, oh, the lighting just changed. I'm not 100% sure yet about the colors I chose. I like them, and my daughter said she likes them, but I just want to make sure they're bright enough. So anyway, I didn't want to do white, but I think white would have shown up really well on this. So we'll see. I might still keep stitching on it and just see how I feel. But this was my birthday start, and I worked 4 days on it and got 406 stitches, which is pretty good. I wanted to get both colors in. I am using the Etoile for the back stitching for sure, though I haven't quite decided how else I'm going to use it. So we'll see. All right, now we're going to go on to my WIP collection, which I worked on, which I told you, I think I told you, it was 17 WIPs I worked on this time around. I did a lot of the different games for WIP Warriors, and so that helped me kind of work through a lot of different ones depending on what I needed. And some of them I just felt like working on, so it's just kind of like a eclectic selection of WIPs these last 2 months. So the first one is Gorgeous. This is by the Artsy Housewife. And I stitched this on 32 count linen in Lambswool by XJuDesigns. And sorry, this piece of fabric, I think it must be a fat half, or I don't even know. It's huge because I started pandemic up here, but then didn't like the color. So then anyway, I switched to which I'm really happy I did, because this is beautiful for this project, and I've actually got another project planned for this fabric too. So it's I love this color. But all right, so this is Gorgeous, and she is gorgeous, this bird. All right, so she is coming right along. I did switch some of the colors for her in the flowers to make it look more like the picture. The colors in the picture are a little they look pink, but then when you actually pull the stitch, like the colors out, they were kind of like a dark mauve-y, maybe like color, I guess brownish mauve. And so I really like that bright pink, and so I definitely switched my colors to look more like the picture on the pattern. So yes, so this is something I worked on in early January, and let's see, I think I wrote down, I just did 2 days on it. I did 2 days, and for 215 stitches. And this was one of the ones, so one of the games for the WIP Warriors is, it's like a scavenger hunt, and so you can either use items in your WIPs, or you can use things out like in public, I guess, wherever you want to find something. So one of them was bird. So I happened to have, of course, this beautiful bird on Gorgeous here, but I guess if I had wanted to, I could have found a bird outside and took a picture with my WIP. So that would have been funny and maybe a little difficult to do. This next project is called Coffee, and it is by an Etsy designer, AuthorEmbroideDesign. And this project was actually a Christmas gift for my daughter in 2022. And I started it on Christmas Day then. And so it was kind of neat. This was another scavenger hunt where it was said the prompt was coffee. And so perfect. It's the name of the project. And I do love coffee, so my daughter knew it. So this is where I got to with Coffee. This is stitched on 32 count Lugana. In the color is Exotic Orchid by Wichelt, and it's a really fun color. And then I switched the colors in the project. They were like the highlighted areas here that are pink, they were yellow, but I am definitely like one of my other favorite colors is pink. So and especially with the fabric, I thought it would look really nice with the pink highlights on the cup. So that is one change I made. Otherwise, it's coming along. I worked mostly in, actually I worked all over. I worked a little bit here, and then I also worked in the handle, and I filled in, I think, the bottom of the cup here too. Looks like there's a few more stitches I'm missing right there, but otherwise, I'm just trying to fill in so I can get up to the steam, which is really cute because it's like hearts and stuff. So the next one I worked on is Castle Homecoming. This is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and it was a stitch along that they did, I think, 2 years ago. And I actually started it, I bought it, I think, during the stitch along, sometime in the middle, but then I didn't actually start it until last year. So this fabric I pulled out of my stash. I don't remember where I got it, but it is by Seraphim Fabrics, and it's Jack Frost. It's 32 count linen, and I do love it. This project is fun to work on. All of the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery ones are fun to work on. So, all right. So let's see. So I worked only on one day on this, but I got 250 stitches in, and it was all in this little dude, which I don't know if that's Merlin or maybe it's the king. I don't know yet. We're gonna find out. It's gonna be it's gonna be a surprise. But yes, so really fun to work with this one. So this next project is following right along with the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is Arctic Animals, and this is their recent stitch along that they started this last year in May. And I had not kept up, but I did start it at the time when it was released, and I'm on clue 5. This month they actually released clue 10, which is cute. It's a narwhal, and so I think actually the last clue is next month, so it's not very far away from being completed. So here we are, and I feel like I've made fairly good progress, honestly. Since I started this in May, I'm like, that's pretty good, because I don't stitch, I don't feel like I stitch things very quickly. So this is stitched on 32 count linen in the colorway Jack Frost by Picture This Plus. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, back that up. It's 28 count Nocturne by Picture This Plus. I was reading my previous page. So the 28 count though is really, I feel like it's more like 32 count, because I think Picture This Plus, their fabric is so nice, and like it's like puffy, the threads are through the fabric, so I really like it. And so this time around I finished all the puffins here, all that was my big finish there, and I worked a fair amount on this one. I did 5 days and 734 stitches. So this has been, it was a focus for me in January for my stitch along event for the WIP Warriors. And so, which is basically just stitch as much as you can on a project in one weekend. And so, or I guess it's more like 4 or 5 days, whatever it is. But anyway, so I'm choosing to work on this again this month for my stitch along. Is that right? Well, anyway, something like that. So I started this weekend is the stitch along challenge, and so I am working here already. And this is the Arctic hare that you can't quite see yet, but he'll show up here soon. So anyway, I love this project. I love those cute animals. Makes me really happy. This next project is one that I pull out pretty much every floss tube. It is the Northwoods Heirloom Stocking by Cooler Design Studio, and this is something I got. They have their projects all online, so you can get PDFs, which is nice. And so, but originally I actually found these stockings in a book from, is it Better Homes and Gardens, I think, which is kind of neat. That's how I found it at the library. But anyway, so I'm slowly working on this one. I have taken it, I will say, I haven't worked on it near as much as I had been over the last couple of months. This one I only worked one day on, and I got just over 100 stitches. But I'm still working in the tree, which is probably not surprising to anyone since it takes up pretty much half of the stocking. But I stitched this on 25 count potato Lugana, and it is 3/2 with the stitches, so it's definitely nice thick stitches. I do backstitch as I go, so that makes it a little bit easier for me, because in my first stocking I did for my daughter, I waited till the very end to do the backstitching, and it was so hard. It was so hard. So now it's kind of a treat. It's like it breaks it up, and I really enjoy it. So I also do the French knots when they're called for and stuff. So pretty much all the back stitching is done in the horse and at the bottom of the tree. So once I get this chest done with, I think there's some fruit and stuff up here, then I can backstitch that as well. So I haven't been wanting to pull this out as much, and it's probably because I just did so much on it back in the last couple of months, in just, I think November, December, but I'm sure that we'll see it again soon. So this next project is called Beloved, and it's by Running with Needles and Scissors. And this was a gift from a friend from StitchCon, which I'm still thankful for to this day. I love this project. I love those birds and the flowers. So it's pretty fun because this time I actually got to start doing something other than the berries around the top. So that was pretty exciting. And this is stitched on 40 count linen by Grace Notes, and the colorway is Kenneth. And so it is, so far there's been no specialty stitches or anything. It's just regular stitches, and it's coming along. This dangling thread is here because I'm like a little afraid to keep going lower because I don't want to lose count. And I just really hate counting long lines of stitches. So it's just hanging out there waiting for me to get something more done here. Yes, I am looking forward to it. And I don't think there's a lot of specialty stitches. It looks like it's just in the letters that kind of happen right about here. So that'll be fun to get to that. And so this one I only worked one day on, and I got 134 stitches. So pretty good. This next project is a project that I've been working on since 2020. It is a big one. It's 250 by 250. It's the Letters from Hogwarts Stitch Along that Cunning Cross Stitch did back in 2020. And unfortunately, it's no longer circulated, but it's taken me forever to get through, let me tell you. It is a stitch your own adventure. So basically, I'm just getting to the part where my adventure starts, which is exciting. This time, we'll see, I'll first tell you the fabric is 36 count even weave in the colorway Charcoal by dovestitch.com. And so this project, this time I worked on finishing up my wand. That was the first part of it that I got to decide. So basically each round you either answer a question, or in this case you rolled a dice and it would figure out like which wand you were going to have. So that's been fun. I finished that. There's like a lot of little back stitching there. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can get it a little closer because you can see the flowers. I thought that was neat. And then I've still got some little bit of swirls to do around the wand, but then I get to start. But I don't actually even know what's next. I haven't looked because I didn't want to know. But I know there's a big class flag that goes right here, banner, I guess. So that's something that's coming, but I don't know if that's next or not. But yes, so this one is going well. It's so exciting to actually be moving along from past the top. This next one is a project I started last summer. It's called Woman in a Field of Flowers, and it is by Stitches So Beautiful. The artwork is by, I believe, I forget his name, but I'll put it down here at the bottom. And I just think it was so beautiful. I can't remember who I saw. I think it was on Instagram. I just saw it and was like, I want to start that eventually. And last summer I did. So this one, if I thought the last one was big, which was 250 by 250, this one is 400 by 400. So, and it's full coverage, but I'm excited. I can't wait to get to the flowers. So this one is stitched on easy count white Lugana. I do 32 count, and I do 2/1 10 stitch for these. And so I have been doing my full coverage in a typewriter method, which is what Stitchin' Mommy does. But instead of going across and on the top, I decided I wanted to start on the bottom because the flowers were on the bottom. I didn't want to do a lot of sky at first. And then instead of going across, I go diagonally. So I pick a stitch, finish the whole, and then I finish all the colors in that area of that stitch. And then I move on to the next square, or I'm sorry, the next symbol that I have. And once I'm done with the whole 10 by 10 block, I move diagonally to the next one. So the whole point of that for me is I want to have variety. I don't want to always be doing all the dark grass and whatever at this. Eventually I'll be up here and I'll be doing flowers and her dress, and you know what I mean? It'll keep it maybe more interesting, at least is what I'm hoping for. So, and you can't see much yet, but it is starting to come along. And you can kind of see maybe a stem right here. right? Yeah. This next one is Halloween Quaker by Leela's Studio. This is the project that I have been working on to finish my 2022 WIP Go board, and I still have 2 days left on it, but that is it. Then I will have finished that whole board. Just 2 more days on this project, but I haven't fit it in yet. So Halloween Quaker, I worked 3 days on this project and got 680 stitches, so super exciting. You can see, basically I think I had just this bit of tree maybe, and I finished all the bit of tree and started, this is going to be a house here, and I got part of, well actually this is part of the house too, and the fence looks so good. Really happy with how this one's coming out. This is on 20 count Witch's Brew by XJuDesign, and it's 20 count Ada. The next project I worked on is Mickey's Coffee by Zaina Cross Stitch, and her shop is on Etsy. This is a project I started, 2021, and I worked 2 days on it this month and got just over 300 tent stitches. This is a restart for me, and I have been doing the diagonal typewriter method again with this one, except I started in the upper corner. And so I just kind of working my way down. I got a little more of the C done down here, and but basically I've just been pulling stitches from this area. And so this, like I said, this is a restart because originally I did it 2 over 2 on 32 count. It was really big. So I wanted it to be smaller, and it's very pixelated otherwise. So this kind of helps it blend a little better. And so I have been happy with how this one is coming. And I have a lot of little stray stitches out here now. So that's kind of exciting. It helps with the framework of filling in stitches later. So this next project is the Magic Kingdom Sal by Cunning Cross Stitch, and it is available on his blog. It is a free pattern. This pattern I started in 2021. It was, and I started on New Year's Day, and I got through, I think, like four of them maybe, and I fell off the bandwagon. So here I am still working on it. But this month I did a lot. I'm really proud of my progress this month. So I worked 4 days on it, and I got 1,261 stitches on it. So basically I finished, I just had a little bit left in the Beauty and the Beast block here, and I nearly finished the Tiana block. So I stitched this on 32 count linen. It is Picture This Plus petals, which really probably on the camera looks white, but it does have a very subtle pink and green undertones to it. And I am missing a color. I've almost finished it, except for I was missing this color, which was a little disappointing, but I went ahead and started the Emperor's New Groove block up here just to keep working on it. So I love this pattern. I think if I could do it over, I would do it on a different fabric, not because I don't love the Picture This Plus fabric is great, but I want it to be a little brighter. So something maybe just a little pinker, I don't know. But I've seen people finish this though, since it looks like the castle, and they put like fireworks up in the sky. I thought that was pretty neat. This next project is a freebie on Leela Studio's website. It is called Flag Bearer, and I found I started this during the Summer Olympics back in July. So oh, this looks so cute. Oh my goodness. So this is on 32 count petite point raw white linen. And the only thing I changed has been the rabbit color. He was a very kind of light tan, so I made him a little browner just so he'd show up better on this fabric. Otherwise, it's been a joy to stitch. I am missing a few colors, so that's why I was doing the cart, and then I switched up to the bunny because I was like, I don't have the colors for the rest of the cart. So I might be able to find them, something that's close enough, but I just haven't really looked at it yet. So I love the stitch. I don't have very many patriotic stitches, and so this is kind of my first one, but I do hope to may have more. This next one is a it is another one that I worked on for the WIP board from 2022. It is Pop Art Tiger by Artsy, and this is one that I started back in 2021. And this is stitched on 32 count linen in the color Monet by Picture This Plus. Again, I love, you can tell this is a very, it actually has a very similar look to the Happy Ever After. And so it's so fun to see this tiger coming to life. And I am doing, again, the diagonal typewriter method. So I work from the bottom this way across. And so, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just heading this way. Finally got some pinks in there. It's exciting. I think this is going to be a really fun, colorful stitch when it's done. And it's going to be pretty big. It's 186 by 197. So this next project is the Cozy Cafe by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And this is another one of their sales from probably 3 or 4 years ago. I started it in 2022. And I love, you know, I love all their projects, but it's been fun to work on this one. So this one I worked 3 days on and got 282 stitches done. I primarily have basically worked on finishing the raspberry mocha, which unfortunately, because of the color of the floss, it's hard to read the raspberry part, but that's what that tiny little part right there says, raspberry. There are some beads in this part of the project too, and the raspberries like down here and in the cup. So I do have those. I just haven't put them in yet, but it's been fun. And I thought I finished out these beige stitches all the way to the end here. So this is actually the edge of the piece. So I always think it's kind of exciting when you reach one, like an end of the, you know, the patterns. You're like, oh, okay, that's how big it's gonna be. So yes, so I'm working along. The only thing I changed was colors in this chai cup. It had more oranges in it, and I added some pink instead. And I also went for a dark fabric for this one because I wanted to kind of look behind like a chalkboard. So but the problem is the word menu up here is in dark gray, so I'm gonna have to figure out what color to do. I haven't decided yet. I may stick though, maybe with this beige, but we'll see. This next project is called For Thee. It is another freebie on the Leela Studio website, and I picked this one up in 2021. It was my Valentine's Day start that year, and it's actually a small, it's not very big, so I should be able to get this done probably in the next couple of years. I just work a little on it at a time. This one I got 2 days worth done, and I did 457 stitches, which is really exciting. So I did switch pretty much all the colors in this pattern out and just picked a palette that I really liked. The colors originally were more reds, a lot of red. I think it was like several different shades of red. So I went for a little bit brighter, and but I have run into like trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this. It's like a navy blue, and there's some hearts here that are gonna be. So I think I'm actually gonna use the light pink in there to fill up the hearts instead of making them navy blue. So I've got a little work to do for that, but it is coming right along. Really happy with that. It is on 36 count linen Tycho by Picture This Plus. And there's some initials that will go into, which I have to figure out what color. I'm just taking my time. I'm taking my time on this one. This next project is a full coverage project. It's called the Supersized Max Color Magic Study Rainbow version. And it is by Heaven and Earth Designs, with the artwork being by Rose Kahn. I fell in love with this project the second I saw it. It was on Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and it was still on at the time. They still had it on Heaven and Earth Designs website, but I think since then they have taken it off. I also since then I found the puzzle too. So I actually recently with my kids last year did the puzzle of this project, but it's huge. It's again, I don't have it written down, but it's a lot of stitches by a lot. So, but it's a fun one to work through. And this is, again, I'm doing the same diagonal typewriter method. So you can actually even kind of see the chunky a little bit here, but I've gotten, I think, the first 2 diagonals done, and I'm working on the next one. There's a string of lights here, so that's nice. You can start to see that. And then there's a butterfly. So I like this project. This, I am also doing 2/1 tent stitch on 32 count. Really like this coverage. And so this is fun. I did, how many stitches did I do this time? 521 tent stitches. So I definitely, and a lot of that was in this area here. I did a little more here. So I'm almost done with this square right here, and then I'm going to start back down here again. So, all right. And then this last WIP is my second oldest WIP. It's called Be Yourself. It is by Emma Congdon, and it is in her book, Cross Stitch for the Soul. I started this piece in 2020. It was probably one of the first projects I did on 36 count linen. It's in Winter Moon is the color. And I did it 1/1. I'm sorry, 1/2. Whoa. And so I also miscounted. So I didn't, like, you can see the margins are a little off. So that has been a little frustrating. And I also started on the wrong linen thread, quad, whatever you want to call it. The little, like, basically it doesn't really matter. But now that I do it a certain way, coming back to this one makes it a little tough. I did try to kind of fix the error when I jumped down here to the yourself. So I moved the stitches over one tiny thread just so that it all has to do with me seeing the stitches and where my needle goes. And so if it's, my brain says, oh, that's it, but if it's, anyway, regardless, this is the weeds. So I picked this project up because WIP Warriors actually had a Valentine's Day event called Lonely Hearts. And it's like, I think it was something like, pick your project that you never want to work on and it never calls to you. And then, I might have another one, but this one is the one I'm always like, oh, I don't, yeah. No, I do love what it says. It means a lot to me. I think you should always be yourself. I sometimes struggle, with just wanting to not necessarily that I'm not myself, but I'm quiet and I may not be, be fully who I am in front of people because I'm shy. So that's why I think this means something to me. But I am thankful that I got it out. I worked 2 days on it, got 548 stitches. So that's definitely exciting. And it's nice because there's not a lot of colors in it, I can actually do the back stitching because this color is the same as the back stitching here. So I can kind of do them as I go. So that's what I did. But primarily what I did is I did finish the back stitching around the B, and I also started these letters here, and then I did the flowers and the vine on the other side. So it is not a lonely heart anymore. It has had some dates now, or some days worked on it. So that is all my projects. It was a very busy 2 months, and I think in in January I worked, I think 4,000 stitches. I think 5,770 stitches, because now I count because of this WIP Warriors, and for me it's not a big deal because I have the for the most part it's Markup XP does all the counting for me, except for I think maybe just 2 or 3 patterns I have that are still paper. So yeah, so it's kind of fun to keep track, and it is definitely motivating for me to do that. for this coming month, let's see, so with haul, I did buy a few things here and there. I did buy the DMC for, you know, the Happy Ever After and the 1864 EF sampler. But beyond that, I also bought some thread, the threads bobbins from Adam Adam Cross-Stitch Heart. Yeah, I'll post it down here. But yeah, so I did that, and I'll put a picture of them too because I think they're really awesome if you're looking for something like a plastic bobbin that can also be a floss drop. So I did that, and then they fit nicely in my organizer that I showed last time with the drawers and stuff. So I've been very happy with that. The only project I bought, or I'm sorry, I say project, but I mean pattern, was this one called Twisted Christmas Sampler, and it's by Northern Expressions Needlework. It's beautiful. I love it. It's right here. You're here. So this one I actually saw on Stitchin' Mommy, and she had started it on this sparkly fabric, and it's so pretty. And it has like a lot of specialty stitches, so it will be a challenge for me, but I thought it would be fun to do. I would like to find some sparkly fabric like she did, so that's kind of my goal, but I'm not in a rush to start it. It's just something that I've been wanting to start. And then otherwise, that's pretty much all I bought. I think I spent some of the time this month also working on finishing up what is it called? Bisley drawer system or whatever. I finished putting all my floss into it, and I spent time doing that. I would like to continue to work on Arctic animals this month. I think that's my focus for my stitch along, which I think I mentioned already that I started that. And I don't know, just gonna stitch everything that I love and just keep trying to make progress, and hopefully I'll be back here soon. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy stitching.